not just in UCLA, in the whole country, in the United States, are unaware of the military coup happening in Myanmar right now, which has gotten so bad that there are currently, I think, more than 770 civilian casualties right now. And there has been so much horrendous bloodshed and violence inflicted on the people of Myanmar. So I'm here today to urge USAC to issue to pass the resolution in support of the Burmese students and people of Myanmar, not just for the Burmese students at UCLA, but also for the civilians at Myanmar fighting for their futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Justin?
Hello, I'm speaking in my capacity as an individual right now, but I'm speaking in support of Palestinians being hurt and killed by Israeli Zionist right-wing forces. What is happening right now is present-day colonialism and settlement in Sheikh Jarrah, a neighborhood in Jerusalem, as well as bombings that are happening in Gaza. I think media in the US right now is showing out in support of Israel and kind of switching what the real situation is, including, terrible takes on Twitter by Andrew Yang, among others, about really what this is. I don't know that there's much we as a last council can do, but I urge the next council to consider like we have set precedents for supporting students during traumatizing experiences overseas, potentially considering a resolution to urge for academic leniency, among other things, for Palestinian diaspora students. Also wanted to plug a rally and protest at 1100 or 11,000 Wilshire Boulevard on Saturday, because it is also the anniversary of the Nakba, which is the basically when the first settlement by Israelis and the Israeli project really began. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Baker?
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So yes, adding to what Justin said, I'm also speaking as an individual, and mainly to focus the attention of not only the new council, but the wider student body who might be listening or like reading the minutes and the comments and so on. The past few days as a Muslim, as an Arab, and more importantly as a human, they weren't the easiest days. Seeing Palestinian civilians, basically innocent people, kids and women getting killed, and the not only the most holiest month for Muslims, but even days. People start fasting in the morning, but before they can break their fast, they are dead. And it's if there's one regret that this is my last meeting, is that I can no longer present something or do something as in my capacity as a council member. So I do really hope that the next council can do something about this. And it's not this, while this is what's happening is on a greater scale than usual, but it is not something that is happening for today or tomorrow, for a few days. It's something that have been continuous for 70 years. We don't always get to listen or to hear about those of what's happening, just because media generally don't cover it, it's not interesting enough, or like, they've been happening so much that, it's nothing new. But the reality is that it's a continuous struggle for many students. And we do have like a good population of Middle Eastern students, of Arab students, and Muslims, and specifically Palestinians, and many of their allies. And so it's not only something for now, to provide support that those students need, but it's something that I think council need to look into more structured support for those students, like going forward. So yeah, that is like mostly what I really wanted to say. I do really hope that attending council members, of the new council members, would listen to this, and if like, if they're not here, that they would get to hear about this. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Baker. Arsh?
Thank you, Naomi. Before I start with my public comment, I would just like to echo the hearts that were just shared right now by different individuals, and also reiterate that my heart and my wishes go out to all Bruins, individuals, and members of our community that are impacted by the current events. And very good evening to everyone present here today. My name is Arsh, and I'm here in my capacity as a member on the ASU-CLA Board of Directors to just share some updates over the past couple of months with the undergraduate body, and just bid the current council goodbye. In terms of updates, we have recently approved the very first diversity and inclusion statement for ASU-CLA in its 100 years of history, which is a great thing of pride. The marketing department is launching computer tech bundles with the Westcom technology loan in order for students to have access to technological equipment that they might need in order for them to continue their education with least trouble. The Student Union Operations Department is also in the process of developing a business model for an e-sport lounge that is potentially going to be coming in the Ackerman Student Union. And finally, I wanted to share that management is also in the process of updating the point of sale systems in our UCLA store and all on-campus restaurants operated by ASU-CLA, which would soon be equipped to accept CalFresh, SNAP, and EBT benefits in order to address food insecurity on campus. And it's estimated that this will come into effect very soon. Finally, I just wanted to take a moment to extend my appreciation to the outgoing council for all your effort and work this past year. In a time when everything was stacked against us, your resilience made accomplishments that would have been a reach possible today. And not to forget the various collaborations that we've had this year, good times, including advocating with Gen Rep 2 and Facilities Commission to promote ethical and sustainable labor practices, working with IVP to host the first ever mask design contest, and FSC to distribute over $313,000 in COVID relief funds to students, which is an insane feat. And including but not limited to collaborating with Office of the President to shed more light and transparency on usage of student fees. All these accomplishments certainly set a promising precedent for the continued synergy between ASU-CLA and USAC, and personally, I'm greatly looking forward to seeing how it develops in the coming years. Thank you for entrusting me and Naomi for appointing me as one of the 2020-21 undergraduate representatives. It has been my honor to serve in this capacity along you all to redefine Bruin experience. One final comment, which I feel gets missed out sometimes, especially for people that are graduating very soon. The Student Union ASU-CLA is open to every member of the Bruin community for life, not just restricted to your tenure as a student. So even as an alum, you're as much welcome into the space of ASU-CLA and Board of Directors, and you have as much of a stake as you do right now. So I would like to welcome everyone, regardless of whether you're a student or an alum. And finally, I wish you all in the best of everything ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arsh, and it was an honor having you serve as our BOD rep. And I know you'll do great things next year too. So yeah, keep up the transparency too. We love these. Cool. Would anyone else like to give public comment? Going once, twice. Awesome. Seeing as there's no more public comment, we will be concluding PC at 7:20 p.m. Thanks, everyone. That was also the last public comment of the council too. Okay, moving on to our funding bodies. We have a contingency. Go ahead, David.
Hi, everyone. So this week we have a total amount requested of $4,575.92. And the total recommended is $4,346.44 to 11 non-USAC entities.
I motion to approve $4,346.44 to 11 non-USAC entities.
I second.
Jonathan motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay. All against? Okay, and all abstaining. Okay, by a vote of 12 to 0 to 0. Sorry, what happened?
I was voting for, sorry.
Oh, okay, awesome. By a vote of 13 to 0 to 0, the motion passes and the contingency allocations are approved for this week. Thank you, David. SFS allocations?
Wow, hi. This is I will stick with the theme of this is the last SFS allocations. Heck yeah, let's do it. Okay. So this week in SFS land, we have a total requested amount of $1,669.62 and a total recommended allocation of $1,169.62 to one CSC org and one non-CSC org.
Awesome. Does anybody have any opposition to these allocations? Okay, seeing as there's no opposition, Jonathan, the SFS allocations are approved for this week. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Moving on to TGIF. Oh, I think we said that was written, right? I think we did. Okay. And we don't have any special presentations. Moving on to our officer report, so I can start for tonight. And basically, the main things that I wanted to update you all about is just my continued serving on the Public Health Compliance Committee and really talking about what next year is going to look like in terms of the vaccine requirement and the compliance measures that are going to be put in place to ensure that folks are abiding by the vaccine mandate. We've also, as you all know, the big announcement about commencement went out this past week, and we were in continued. I just really want to give the biggest shout out to Amanda and Jonathan, and also to Vice Chancellor Gordon, who has really been an ally in our fight for really trying to make sure that seniors were appreciated in the ways that we deserve to be appreciated in the midst of a pandemic. So that was really awesome. Y'all did amazing. I know that was a lot of emotional labor, so I thank y'all for that. And that was really good news. Ending the term, we all know that the USAC elections have passed too. Unfortunately, BERF did not pass because it did not meet the threshold for the voting threshold, which is very unfortunate, but our team is now looking to transition and what that might mean for next year in supporting students, and also just passing on this information to other UCs who have inquired about the possibility of them running a similar referenda. So super exciting to see that we're inspiring leadership elsewhere. The last things I will say is that we've officially signed our letters for a lot of the committee meetings that we were having this year in regards to the SIOC and the CRC budget. we have come to an agreement about what budget presentations are supposed to look like. Definitely doesn't solve the overall issue. There's still a large culture problem, as we all know about, and that fight will continue, but we have came to some preliminary agreement that we are very excited, and we signed those documents today. And last few things, I have my last pre-meeting with Vice Chancellor Gordon for my meeting with the Chancellor, Breeze, and I will be having that meeting together so that she can, it's like her first like official meeting as president. It's tomorrow at 2 p.m. Our agenda hasn't been established yet. I'm really relying on Breeze to guide me on the issues that she wants to talk about. But other than that, I'm also just going to be transitioning Breeze in general, passing down some of my own projects that I had started this year, like our Future Student Leaders of Color Conference, CAB, a Mental Health Resource Center, and among other things, and then also seeing where Breeze will need my support. And yeah, I will officially be concluding and transitioning over all of my positions, I hope, to Breeze. And then, of course, remaining in my position as the council president's co-chair until I think August. So nonetheless, still really excited about the transition process. Awesome. Moving on to, that was also my last officer report. Moving on to IVP.
Hello, time for my last officer report. Okay, so my office has just been transitioning into closing. We posted our last kind of transparency report series in regards to like what our office has accomplished this quarter, everything each of the platforms and committees have accomplished on Instagram, and also posted some IGTVs, clips from our old events. I think the last one was the Transformative Justice Now event. Other than that, I've been working on transitioning Cassandra. We met today, talked about things like the agenda, how to start USAC meetings, all that fun stuff. I'm going to be working with her more throughout the rest of the quarter to talk about appointments to make sure she's ready to, make sure all the appointments are done on time and well. But other than that, that is all for me. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Emily. Aiden?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's crazy that this is our last report. So yeah, time flies. But in terms of last week, really grateful for all of you who turned out to our two events, the AD 54, Assembly District 54 State Candidates Town Hall with Isaac Bryan and Dallas Fowler on Wednesday of last week, and then our Northwestwood Neighborhood Council Candidates Forum on Thursday of last week. They were great opportunities for students to really hear from the people that are running to represent us at the state and local level and push them on issues that we care about. And definitely, I'm hopeful that whoever wins in those races will have the knowledge and understanding to know that they have to come back to UCLA and continue working with students on our priorities. So those were kind of our last two major events with our Bruin's Vote initiative as we're transitioning it over to the next EVP office. Another major initiative that we are working on winding down is the Bruin Trailblazer Scholarship. Again, appreciative of Council's contribution, $50,000. We met with UCLA External Affairs and are finalizing the details for what that scholarship will look like. All of you as current council members will actually be invited back to be official scholarship readers, not only for this scholarship, but for other scholarships through the Alumni Center. And I'll be sure to send out details to our personal emails once we're termed out on how folks can get involved with that in the summer and afterwards. And another thing I'm happy to announce is after working with our budget and some of the cost savings from digital advocacy, we were actually able to double the contribution that council made. So we'll be able to endow $100,000 worth of scholarships, doubling the opportunity and actually making sure that we have one scholarship for a student who was a direct entry, and then one scholarship for a transfer and non-traditional student to really highlight the work of students from that community. So excited to see all of you back when we're reading apps in the future. And then finally, just transitioning the office over to The next incoming EVP, Sarah, finalizing our transition documents, our end of year report, and hoping to have the transition fully, all the accounts and everything done by the end of the week. And similar to Naomi, I will actually be sticking around until mid-August in my UCSA president role. So don't be a stranger if you, for old council or new council, if you have any questions on system-wide advocacy, but it's good to kind of start that process now. And for all campus-related advocacy needs, Sarah and her office will be a really great resource. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, moving on to AAC.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll be actually having one last event tomorrow to discuss like financing your education. I think it's like catered to like younger students, but if you have loans or whatnot and you have questions, you should definitely come out. And we're going to be closing out books for Bruins. We already sent in the rec form, so we're just waiting to get those gift cards mailed out. And I will be transitioning Angie over. I think we had our first transition meeting yesterday, so we're probably going to have a couple of more just to wrap up final questions and to just formally introduce her to Academic Senate. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Breeze. Moving on to CSC.
Thank you for inviting me. Hello, hey, hi, hello. What's up in CSC land? That's the last time I'm gonna say that, so that's cool. I felt it would be it was a good idea for me to give something verbal after 2 years. Got to finish it off strong, But I have updates. This isn't just me spewing hot air. So this weekend we had the Robert S. Michaels Leadership and Service Awards ceremony. We gave our 10 wonderful recipients their scholarships, the 10 wonderful service orgs that they've chosen theirs as well. So that was really exciting, a good kind of end to the term. Additionally, super excited about the commencement updates and continuing to work on that committee for the remainder of this year, probably as we do the planning process. And there's a few different groups actually that group has split into now. So coordinating those different areas and making sure that we have student representation within all parts of the commencement planning process for the year. Beyond that, and I'm sure that Momina will speak about it in her officer report in the next council, but CSC is hiring, folks. Applications are out. They're on our socials. They're on our website. Come join the family. Lots to do. Lots of exciting things going on. So thank you for a wonderful 2 years, and that's all from me.
Oh, it was a great 2 years. Thanks, Jonathan. Moving on to THAC.
Oh, I think mine should be written or nothing. But I'm gonna take the opportunity to say love everyone before we get into it later. Okay, bye.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Noé?
Hello, thank you. To update on the Pandemic Relief Fund, nothing has changed since last time, but we still haven't emailed our second round recipients. And so we're hoping to do that this week with the transition to the new commissioner. So it'll be Emily who will be outreaching to our second round of recipients. But she already has this experience as she helped me with the previous round. And then additionally for the HERF grant allocation meeting, I met with them this past Monday, and we've finalized to a proposed allocation. Again, keeping in mind that this HERF 2 requires us to target students with exceptional need. And so this won't apply to the entire student body like HERF 1 did. And that's if anyone has any questions, just because HERF 2 limits it to only exceptional need. And then I'll also be in contact with Breeze and Naomi on updating whoever else will be sitting on the grants allocation meeting, because I know they will be meeting for HERF 3 as well.
Yeah, sounds good, Noé. My recommendation, this is just a recommendation to both Breeze and you, should probably be the next FSC just because Breeze is probably already going to be really swamped with other things that she'll have to catch up on. So that's just a thought, but we can cross that bridge when we get to it. Awesome. Moving on to ISR.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think Genrep 3 wanted to comment.
Okay. Sorry. Gen 3? Elijah?
I actually didn't, but I'll take the time just as Sachi to say love you all. It was a pleasure getting to meet everyone. Thank you though, Booker.
Awesome. That was great too. Did anyone, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone before I move on to admin. Okay, moving on to our admin reps, Jessica.
Actually, it's me.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry for the confusion. Okay. So I do still have, even though I'm leaving today, I do still have one more academic senate meeting, the Committee on International Education, which is on the 18th of May. The next incoming chair for the committee will meet with the new ISR during summer. Moving to the allocation by council for ECRT to support international students. The paperwork, like from the ISR side, is done. It's all what's need to do is for that to be processed and ECRT to basically pick the check and use it. They're supposed to report on their how they spent this money on by the end of this year. So like by the end of 2021. So future council, please hold them accountable to that. They should do that in December maximum. In terms of the in terms of also the vaccines. So I'm sure that everyone has already heard about the plans to have to mandate the use of vaccines, the possible plans, okay, to mandate vaccines for students, faculty, and staff. There were a few issues in regards to international students who are abroad, like how will they be affected? And that is the answer for that. There's two things. The first one is that UCLA will generally acknowledge vaccines authorized by the World Health Organizations, WHO. So it's not only limited to FDA. And the other thing is that for students who are unable to get vaccinated at their home countries before coming at UCLA, they will not be barred from entering campus or using campus resources, but they will be directed to get vaccinated as soon as possible and will be subject to like increased monitoring and testing. Yeah, and then finally coming to the UC International Student Coalition, there are a few points. The first one is that fortunately, the UCR and UC Davis have passed resolutions to create an ISR position on those campuses, and I do really wish that other campuses follow suit. They will. The UC International Student Coalition will also be looking for new representatives, or like additional representatives. So if you're interested in listening to this, keep an eye on, I would presume, the social media accounts for the ISR. Let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, that is all. The next 2 weeks will be mainly transitioning the office. I will probably say this again after this meeting, but like it's been a pleasure serving with you all, and I do really wish the new council like best of luck.
That was sweet. Awesome. And sorry about that, Bacher. Cool. Okay. Now moving on to admin reps. Jessica.
Hi, everyone. First of all, congratulations making it through an incredibly tough year to your final meeting. Definitely will be missing you all as you term off, but just a quick reminder that your signatory authority is still current through the end of the fiscal year. So keep that in mind if you have a funding body that your office operates, that you'll need to still be signing off on rec forms. And the rec form deadline is June 30th. So make sure too that you communicate that out if you're still allocating funding to groups for them to try to get their rec forms in by June 30th so that they can get processed before the end of the fiscal year. And then also a reminder to complete your transition packets, your internal transition packets if you haven't done so already, so that you can pass them on to the incoming officer and share all your account info, the passwords, the email, all of that stuff. We can also help folks reset their Gmail account passwords, so that's no problem. But we just want to make sure we help you all transition internally as best as possible. And again, if you need any support from Fernando or I, we are happy to help facilitate that for you. So just keep us posted. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm sure Fernando will have some more updates for you all.
Thank you, Jessica. George?
Hey everyone, no updates on my end, but I just want to say congratulations. Y'all made it. It's been a year. That's what I've been telling everyone. It's been a year. But very glad to see y'all do a lot. Whether it was virtually or not, y'all did amazing work. So take this break, y'all deserve it. And if you need anything else from me from an alumni perspective, definitely hit me up. Congrats.
Thank you, George. Dr. Geller?
I also want to congratulate you all on a successful year. It's been a pleasure watching you all grow as leaders, and I wish you the best in whatever comes next.
Thank you, Dr. Geller. Awesome. Josh?
Hey team, just congratulations to the outgoing board. Congratulations to the incoming board. This has been a very unique year. We have not met in person, which is so weird. And I know I've seen a couple of you on campus and people are like, Josh? And I'm like, yeah, I have a body. So congratulations to you all. Thank you in advance for the transition notes that you're gonna offer your incoming person. We really do appreciate that because it is important for the continuity of government to make sure that you pass all of that on. Passwords, notes, tips and tricks. So thank you in advance for passing that along. But congratulations to you all. It's been a tough year and you deserve all a pat on the back, but I can't do that because we have to remain 6 feet apart. So when I see you in person, you'll all get a hug.
Thank you, Josh. Fernando? Thank you, Fernando. And Patty.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. Just been a pleasure this year working with you all and looking forward to working with our incoming council as well. I just had one quick announcement. I'll throw it into the chat. ASUCLA, our event services team, is opening up our meeting rooms for individual study spaces for students. So you'll be able to reserve 2 hours twice a week if you're looking for a quiet space for a test or exam, or maybe even a telemed appointment, whatever your needs are. And there'll be an email there. So if you're interested in reserving a room, just send an email out to the reservations email and then they'll book that for you. So thank you all, and congrats again.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, moving on to our old business. So we have our transfer student rep bylaw change. Go ahead, Zoo. I believe this is also the ISR bylaw change too, right? The double. No, different. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to put myself together. I don't want to be emotional. I'm sorry. I got a message from my office and it just made me really emotional. Okay. I have to present. Can I share my screen?
I was gonna say, if you want, we can also come back to you.
No, I got this. I will get through this. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen really quick. Okay, so everyone can see my presentation. Okay. Okay, so what we're trying to do is basically get USAC to sponsor the Transfer Summer Bridge program. And I just want to talk a little bit about that because I think it's important that if we sponsor it, we'll be able to get more funding to support transfer transitions. So basically, who are we? So the Summer Transfer Bridge Program Committee was created under one of my platforms. It's used to support transfer transitions. Usually transfer transitions has been a one-day program, but because of the pandemic and because we were virtual, we were able to make it a 5-day long transitionary summer program to basically supplement orientation, since orientation for transfers is only 1 day. This year, we were able to have 270 plus participants. Sorry, excuse my nose. And in the programming, we were able to provide academic advising, transfer organizations and departments, so connecting students to these resources, provide workshops for student wellness, professional development and research, and financial wellness. So why the Transfer Summer Bridge program? So transfer students comprise, and you've heard me say this all the time, we comprise about 33% of the student body, so that's about a third. When we were trying to get information from transfer students, right, we realized that a lot of the current programs that we currently have in the resources are just insufficient. So if you look right here, about a majority of our students didn't really feel, more or less, right, prepared to enter the social environment at UCLA. And then if we look here, the new student advisors, a large majority of them are not transfers. And so it kind of makes it a little bit hard for new transfers to sort of socialize with the transfer community when their NSA is not necessarily a transfer and they don't really understand the transfer experience. And this is something that we're working on and trying to work with NSTP on. So 65% of transfer students do not feel prepared for fall. That is a large amount after attending NSL. So even after they attended the orientation, they still did not feel prepared. And this is not just during this year. This has been a trend in prior years as well. 57% of transfer students felt that NSO, the new student orientation, should have been longer than 1 day. And then anecdotal evidence, right, from students, basically provides evidence that NSO is often draining and overwhelming. It's a 1 day program. So you're basically there from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So it's incredibly long, and they're basically just pumping you with information. And by the end of the day, you're just exhausted. And you're doing it over Zoom. So Zoom fatigue during a pandemic, it further decreases information retention. And we know that, I mean, we're academics, right? So transfer transitions, how it benefits students, specifically for transfer students, is that it's being presented by students themselves. So students who have already gone through the process and understand what it means to be a transfer student after, right? So when they get to UCLA. Transfer transitions also address the shortcomings of existing resources. So the 5-day-long program was during mid-September, so after students already SIR'd. And then 100% of the students felt an increased belonging to the UCLA community after transfer transition. So not necessarily after orientation, but after they participated in our program. So we created a constitution specifically to be sponsored by USAC, because USAC requires that it become an organization and have its own constitution. So this is a constitution. And the statement of purpose is that the Transfer Summer Bridge Committee aims to promote transfer success through a 5-day transitionary program during summer in order to prepare incoming transfers, right, to basically expose them to the existing campus resources such as clubs, organizations, and departments, and academic advising and research programs. It's also there to build community. That's one of the main facets of the Transfer Summer Bridge program. The provision to make financial records available. So we will make financial records available to the university administration upon request and to USAC. We have our non-discrimination statement as every constitution requires. And then the organizational structure would be the number of officers. So there would be 3 co-chairs appointed by the USAC Transfer Student Representatives Office, as we did this year, but we just named it differently. We just had named them as directors. But in this case, they would be co-chairs. And then during the summer session A, they will be fully trained and able to perform their duties before transfer transitions, and they will work along transfer transitions programs, which is already in the Transfer Student Center. And then the number of staff members would be 3 to 4 staff members, and they will be appointed via an external application process by the co-chairs. And then just, voting privileges, the chairs of the organization and the transfer student rep, as the executive members, will have voting privileges on how to go about decisions. Some of the voting procedures, there will be consultations, and the consultations in terms of voting will basically consider like the Bruin Resource Center, so the directors of the Transfer Student Center, Center for Community College Partnerships, and all these other transfer related departments, in order to make the right decision going forward with transfer transitions. And then amending the Constitution, it would just be a simple majority vote by the chairs and the transfer student rep. And then funding is one of the main reasons why we're trying to get it sponsored, because as you know, as I've said multiple times, the Transfer Student Center basically gets no funding. And so it's really hard for them to create programs without funding sources. And so the Transfer Summer Bridge program would act as sort of like a funding body as well to support their programming. So it would be obtained through the normal means of how USAC and student organizations usually acquire funding, through contingency, through some of the USAC like commission, like funding bodies, ASUCLA, SOL, and then funding will be used for space for events, for hosting the events for new transfers, advertisements and marketing promotional items, traveling for some of the members in order for trainings, and then honorariums, right, for student workers, staff, labor, and presenters. And then just where they will be working, the TSBP will work within the USAC Transfer Student Representatives Office, but throughout the academic year, they will work in partnership with the Transfer Student Center to prepare for transfer transitions. And that's it.
Beautiful job, Zuleika.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to move into the actual like presenting the bylaw.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. Okay. So the actual bylaw is right here. And so what we're asking is honestly very simple. We're just asking that we can add the Transfer Summer Bridge Program under Article 3, Section D, which is the commission-related groups, in order to sponsor it as a USAC organization. And then this is one thing I was just taking out. I took this out because it no longer exists. Yeah, any questions or anything?
Questions, comments, affirmations, anything that you all would want to add about either the presentation or the bylaw itself? Emily?
Yeah, no questions. I just wanted to say thanks, Zoo, for putting this presentation together. I think that like student-initiated, student-run programs are so important because like we understand our needs best. So really, really happy to support your bylaw change.
Anyone else? I also just want to say thank you, Zuleika, for all that you've done this year, especially with the Transfer Summer Bridge program. You even inspired leaders within my office to create a similar program that was helping kids, or students, not kids, transition throughout the pandemic. So it was really awesome and incredible addition to your position as it stands. If there is nothing else that anyone would like to say, a motion will suffice.
I move to approve the transfer student rep bylaw change.
A second.
Emily motions, Justin seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Awesome. By a unanimous vote of 13 to 0, the motion passes and the TSR bylaw change has been approved. Awesome. Okay. Moving on to new business, we have the election results. Alfred?
Shoot, let me text.
I'm here. You're good, Emily.
The floor is yours.
All right, sounds good. 1 second, let me share my screen. Okay, so we finally made it, Council. We have successfully completed the election, and the new council is about to take over. So I'm going to give a short presentation about the election results just to read them into the record and officially certify the results. So I'm going to be announcing the results for the USA Spring election for the 2021-2022 USAC. In the election, there were 29,270 eligible voters. Out of those, 5,802 were cast. The voter turnout was 19.82%. For the president's race, the winner is Breeze Velasquez with 2,819 vote, 55.26%. Congratulations, Breeze. The internal vice president winner is Cassandra Gattaca with 3,329 votes, 65.08%. Congratulations, Cassandra. For EVP, for external vice president, the winner is Sarah Wang with 3,820 votes. That's 76%. Congratulations, Sarah. And then let's move on to, oh my God, what is it? What is this doing to me? Okay, so for the general representative candidates, there were 3 general representative candidates who were elected. General Representative 1 is Haley Vales. General Representative 2 is Pasa Pong Chai. And General Representative 3 is Carl King Jr. Congratulations, Haley, Pasa, and Carl. You all will be doing a great job as future council members. And I'm going to move on to the next one. It's just not letting me scroll. All right. Okay, great. So for Academic Affairs Commissioner, the winner of the Academic Commissioner's race is Angelina Quint with 3,006 votes. That's 63.23%. For Campus Events Commissioner, the winner is Maya Sanghavi with 3,223 votes. That's 71.42%. Congratulations, Maya and Angela. For Community Service, the winner is Moina Suban with 2,743 votes. That's 62.61%. For Cultural Affairs Commissioner, the winner is Promise Ogunle with 4,267 votes. And for Facilities Commissioner, the winner is Jay Nee with 2,893 votes. That's 59.88%. Congratulations, Jane. And for Financial Supports Commissioner, the winner is Emily Clarissa Yu with 2,844 votes, 62.12%. Congratulations, Emily. And I'm going to move on to Student Wellness Commissioner. In the Student Wellness Commissioner race, the winner is Taylon Nye Jackson with 2,602 votes. That's 59.14%. For Transfer Student Representative, the winner is Herman Luis Chavez with 2,464 votes. That's 54.39%. And for International Student Representative, the winner is Natalia Garcia Tang with 4,257 votes. Congratulations to all of the USAC candidates who got elected for these respective positions. With all of these votes, really congratulate all of you. For Constitutional Amendment 1, the Constitutional Amendment 1 has successfully passed with 3,557 votes. That's 82.47%. For Constitutional Amendment 2, that has also passed with 3,635 votes. That's 80.96%. And for Constitutional Amendment 3, it also passed with 3,503 votes. That's 80.83%. And for the referenda, it got 3,013 votes with 60.65%. But since we did not achieve 20% turnout, the referendum has failed. So with that being said, these are all of the results for the 2021 USA elections. Congratulations to the new USAC officers. Congratulations to all the ballot proposition leaders. And before I sign off, I just wanted to thank all of USAC. You know, this year we had a really strong relationship, and I really appreciated that. I know that elections board chairs had horrible relationships with councils in many past years, but this year I think we had a really amazing relationship, and I'm really grateful for all of you for giving me that opportunity to work together with all of you. Just a special thank you for Emily, for Naomi, for Bakur, for Sachi, for always, and Zuleika for always, you know, being there for me to talk to and being available. Really appreciate that. You all are true friends. Thank you to admin, to Dr. Geller, to Josh, to Jessica, to Fernando, and to everyone who helped me. You know, all of you really provided that guidance when I was really lost. Really appreciated that. And for candidates, just thank you all so much for being wonderful candidates during the election season. Please be nice to the new elections board chair. They go through a lot. So I just really wanted to make that point clear. I hope you'll treat them nicely when they come into their roles. And just, you know, a little bit of an encouragement to appoint the elections board chair a little bit early in summer quarter, if possible, because they can be appointed in fall. But with that being said, thank you everyone for a wonderful year. Really appreciate working with all of you. And congratulations to the new USAC. You all gonna do great. And with that, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alfred, for everything that you put up with this election season. And also big shout out to the rest of the e-board as well. You all put up with a lot, especially this council. We're a little high maintenance, but we got through it and we maintained a really good relationship. So thank you for your dedication. And yeah, you all made history with this election season being all online for the first time. So we're very proud and grateful to have been able to collaborate. And yeah, congrats to the new candidates who will be sworn in once we finish the rest of our items. So we're almost done. We're pushing through. We are now moving on to the ISR TSR bylaw change. I'll pass it over to Bakker and Zuleika. Sorry.
Okay. So like, do you want me to share the screen? Okay. Zooming in. So, for context, and one of the things that one of the points that were raised and the last meeting, specifically by Naomi, which is a really valid point, is that those appointments, academic appointments, are really important. And it's unique that the ISR and TSR are like the only other offices, like except for AAC, obviously, that are like appointing students to the academic senate. So we want to make sure that even when this happens, that there's still those seats will be filled regardless. So one of the things we wanted to add is in the language is that to ensure that the ISR and TSR collaborate with AAC, with Academic Affairs Commissioner, to make those appointments. And so we went back to both the TSR and ISR AAC bylaw changes and basically added this phrase in collaboration with the Academic Affairs Commissioner in in each of the points. We found like 3 places where this language was not there, because like I managed to add this phrase to some of the clauses I presented last meeting on the spot. So yeah, Zuleika, if you want to add anything here.
You said it well. We're just basically making it streamlined throughout the bylaws that both of our office will work in collaboration with the Academic Affairs Commissioner when appointing students.
Yeah,
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I think it's pretty straightforward. Y'all made the changes. I think it looks great. Continuity. Motion, anyone?
I motion to approve. Do I have to do I just say bylaw change?
TSR, ISR.
Okay, I motion to approve the TSR, ISR bylaw change.
Second.
I second.
Awesome. Bree's motions, no way. Seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. By a unanimous 14-0 vote, the motion passes and the ISR TSR bylaw change has been approved. Thank you both. That was our last bylaw change too. Okay, moving on to a resolution to abolish the University of California Police Department. Emily?
Hello, hi. I'm going to actually pass it over to Justin for the content of the resolution, as he did the vast majority of the work on it. But just wanted to say, yeah, I wanted to end out this council term with a resolution that I believe kind of reflects a lot of the work that Naomi and I, Justin, and other folks on council have been doing this year, working toward abolition at the University of California and especially UCLA. One of the first things that Naomi and I did as council was release our PSAC boycott letter, basically demanding that the UC invest in true campus safety rather than in policing and in platitudes and in task forces that don't actually make any actual change. Naomi's put in so much labor, working on the UC campus safety symposiums and all of that. And as you all know, probably that we are a couple of members of council in the No PD coalition. I thought that it was fitting, and as other folks thought it was fitting to end our term with an affirmation of what we believe in and hopefully inspire the next generation of council to do the same. I'll pass it over to Justin now. Thanks.
Thank you so much. There has been the space, to read this resolution, but if I may, I'd like to read a few clauses I think I want to highlight. I'll read 4 out, and then I'll read the let it be resolved. Oh, thank you. Could you scroll up to the very top? I want to start off, whereas Black Panther and current political prisoner Mumia Abu Jamal states, abolitionists are, simply put, those beings who look upon their time and say no. They want to abolish state policies that they cannot abide. Slavery, mass incarceration, the death penalty, juvenile life, solitary confinement, police terrorism. These goals are worthy of the name. Only the fire and will seem to be lacking. Let us recover their vision and build new ones that soar towards the bright morning of freedom. If you could scroll down to the second page, please. I want to highlight the report from $1 Million Hoods, as well as the UCLA PD budget. So first, whereas, this is the one at the very top, UCLA PD currently spends approximately $21 million per year on the police department, with approximately 60 sworn officers and 40 non-sworn. This budget has steadily ballooned since the 2008 Great Recession, when many student programs were cut and tuition was raised. Secondly, I want to highlight the third one. Whereas $1 Million Hoods found, through combing and cleaning UCPD records obtained via California Public Records requests, that Black and Latinx Westwood residents were 19 and 2 times more likely than white residents to be stopped by LAPD. I want to stop on, I want to read the last 3 on this page. So yeah. Whereas in 2020, UC Santa Cruz deployed officers to police the wildcat strikes organized by grad students for COLAs at the cost of hundreds of thousands of dollars. UCPD also utilized military surveillance technology provided by the California National Guard and the FBI to monitor students' movements. Whereas, according to State of Crisis, Dismantling Student Homelessness by the UCLA Center for the Transformation of Schools, found that 1 in 20 UC students are homeless or have experienced homelessness at some point in their college career. And whereas Counseling and Psychological Services, the department providing students with direct psychological treatment, and the RISE Center, the department providing students with preventative care, are chronically underfunded, with 80 counselors serving a population of over 30,000 students and having to rely frequently on outsourcing services. And if you could scroll now to the very bottom. Therefore, let it be resolved that the USAC stands in solidarity with Black, Brown, Indigenous, formerly incarcerated, and system-impacted students who are disproportionately surveilled and criminalized by UCPD. Let it further be resolved that the USAC calls on university administration to entirely abandon expansions of campus police outlined in proposed policies known as the Gold Book and listen in good faith to student demands and put those demands into practice. Let it further be resolved that the USAC supports the demand of the No UCPD Coalition in defunding UCPD to be redirected into CAPS and RISE funding, as well as severing connections between UCPD and mental health crises. Let it finally be resolved that the USAC calls on university and system-wide administration to affirm the humanity of its students, staff, and faculty, and heed our calls to disarm, defund, and abolish the University of California Police Department. Let me know if folks have any questions.
Any questions for every comments? Before, I don't know if others would like to comment, but I know I just want to personally thank Justin for his work on the resolution, and also just extend my biggest thanks to Justin and Emily, and also Aiden and others on council that were such a big help and leaders in a lot of this fight at the system-wide level and just at UCLA. y'all were awesome to work with, and I really want to uplift the organizers that have put so much energy into fighting against very lukewarm reforms like the Gold Book proposal, or even like the Public Safety Advisory Council, or even the proposed listening sessions that are taking place as we speak. It's been really important to reaffirm the calls for dismantling, defunding, abolishing the UCPD. So really thankful for this. And I'm really glad that we're ending the council how we started, which is affirming that Black Lives Matter, that everyone's lives, no one's life is safe in a system that is perpetuated by policing.
If there are no questions, can we get a motion from someone?
I move to approve a resolution to abolish the University of California Police Department.
Second.
Awesome. I love the energy. Emily motions, Zuleika seconds. All in favor, please raise hands. Cool. By a unanimous 14-0 vote, the motion passes, and a resolution to abolish the University of California Police Department has passed. Thanks, everyone. Moving on to our second resolution, a resolution in continued support of Burmese students in Myanmar. Emily?
Oh, shoot. Hi, everyone. I forgot that one was me as well. Yeah, so I think we heard from our folks during public comment tonight, and as all of you know, Alfred is the president of the Burmese Student Association. We have passed a resolution in the past in support of Burmese students and folks in Myanmar. So this is just a resolution affirming that this continued support is needed. I hope you all have had a chance to read it. And Alfred, if you want to go ahead and present the resolution, if you're still here, please feel free.
Yeah, of course. I can present the final part. Just I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen, Emily?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this resolution is mainly, the purpose of this resolution is mainly to reaffirm the support that UCLA has been providing its Burmese students so far. I'm actually very grateful for the fact that, you know, UCLA administration is very responsive in granting Burmese students in these accommodations that they desperately need during these horribly dark times. And it's just really I'm just really appreciative of that compared to other UC schools who have not really even given their students anything. So this resolution is mainly to reaffirm and to call on UCLA to continue supporting the Burmese students because the situation is only getting worse. It's not going to get any better. Myanmar is teetering towards a civil war. So this support is really necessary. And additionally, this resolution also calls on UCLA administration and also the Dean of Students and the relevant leadership of UCLA to issue a public statement in support of their students and to condemn the coup in Myanmar. Because while the tangible, all of the resources, they're greatly appreciated, all of the students, especially the students from UCLA, are strongly desiring a official and public statement of support from UCLA, which UCLA has not given to them yet. And we hope that, you know, the UCLA is going to, just step up their support even further for the Burmese students and really issue a statement in support of the Burmese students who really need to know that their university stands behind them during these difficult times and that they condemn the evil actions committed by the military in everything that has happened since the February 1st coup. So, but yeah, like the resolved is, I can just read the resolve clauses. Therefore, let it be resolved that UC Los Angeles releases a public statement condemning the coup and standing in solidarity with the Burmese students. And further, let it be resolved, UC Los Angeles continues offering support through these difficult times and actively facilitate the different accommodations Burmese students need with other departments and entities inside UCLA. And let it further be resolved that UC Los Angeles allows affected students flexibility with pass, no pass grading. And further, let it resolve that the UCLA Los Angeles UC Los Angeles calls on the professors teaching the classes of the affected students to show empathy and patience. And finally, let it be resolved. UC Los Angeles reaffirms its supports for Burmese students.
Sorry. Awesome. Thank you so much, Alfred, for your work on this resolution. Did you want to add any footnotes to the whereas clause before it goes to vote?
Did you want me to put a footnote as in the footnote of the last resolution, Jessica? Is that what you meant?
Oh no, I was just asking more so about some of the like earlier whereas clauses, if you wanted to reference any like news articles or things like that for, you know, some of the events that are going on.
Oh, I think it's fine. We don't need, I'm okay without footnotes because the news is also, it's already pretty much out there. So I don't think we need to cite it.
Thank you, Alfred, for your work on this resolution. I know beyond your e-board job, you are the president of the Burmese Student Association, and I know this has been really taxing, and just want to thank you and the rest of the folks who worked on this. Any questions? If not, a motion.
I move to approve a resolution to support Burmese students and people in Myanmar.
I second.
Emily motions, Bacher seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. By a unanimous vote of 14-0, the motion passes, and a resolution in continued support of Burmese students in Myanmar has passed. Thank you, Alfred. And thanks, everyone. Awesome. Moving on to our last two items on the agenda. We have a resolution in support of California Senate Constitutional Amendment 5.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I'll keep it super brief for these last two. So I will share my screen. The first resolution that I'm bringing is, and big shout out to our EVP University Relations team that drafted this, as well as co-sponsors Zuleika and Sachi. But really, this is an endorsement of a push being done by students at the system-wide level to create a second voting student regent for students at UC. It was actually students that led the charge in 1974 that ran a constitutional amendment for the state of California. Thinking of how hard it's to run a constitutional amendment at UCLA, think of doing that except for the entire state of California, but they did it and they passed it, and they were able to formalize the first ever voting student regent on the Board of Regents to represent student interests at the system-wide level. In the almost 50 years since, our student regents have been strong allies and strong voices for us at the Board of Regents, but one student on a board of 26 voting members is far too little. And our sister segments, the CSU and community college system, in the past 3 years have actually run their own campaigns. Students have pushed for their own second student voting members on their boards. And that has happened in both of those cases. So this is the first year where the CSU system and the community college system have two voting student members as well. So Senate Constitutional Amendment number 5, which was sponsored by UCSA and is being currently introduced by Senator Glazer up north, would change that, and it would allow us to have it would allow us to put an amendment on the ballot for 2022 and get a second student regent, and then really codify different forms of student representation and the student voice at the system-wide level. So this resolution would support that, and I encourage you to consider it and vote yes. So happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Aiden? If not, a motion? Wait, can y'all hear me?
I move to approve a resolution in support of California Senate Constitution Amendment 5.
I second.
Awesome. Zuleika motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Awesome. By a unanimous vote of 14 to 0, the motion passes, and a resolution in support of California State Constitutional Amendment 5 passes. Thank you, Aiden, for your important work on this. Cool. Moving on to our last resolution of the year, we have a resolution in support of federal support for the Bruin Hub Commuter Student Project.
Thank you, Naomi. And honestly, these are like the not the climactic resolutions to end on, but I'm glad this is our last one. So I'll share my screen again. And this is a resolution that was put together by our federal relations team in partnership with UC Federal Government Relations. And also major shout out to Zuleika and Sachi for her work co-drafting this. But really, we got a presentation earlier in the year about the Bruin Hub Commuter Lounge proposal, which is one of the many things that UCLA needs to be doing to improve housing security and support students, both who are commuter students and housing insecure students. And so what this resolution would do is currently, we're working together to try and get additional federal funding to help support this project. Every dollar that we get from the federal government to help this support this project is a dollar that could be used for other forms of housing interventions. And really the importance of viewing this as one part of a larger picture of things that we should be pushing the university to provide for students, from affordable housing to rent relief to safe parking to everything in between. So this is one piece of that, and it would endorse the kind of proposal that's currently making its way through Congress to have federal funding for this project. And it would allow USAC to kind of join in solidarity and in that push to our senators and congressional representatives to secure that kind of funding for this project. And Sachi, I'm not sure if you had anything to add to this.
Yeah, just to echo everything that you said, the Bruin Hub project itself is like a really incredible project that supports just commuter students experiencing homelessness. It's really a great project that has a lot of thought and work that's been put into it. And I appreciate that this resolution is looking for funding for that, so that more funding and more thought can be put into all of the other efforts that myself and others have been advocating for, so that the university really steps up, acknowledging that Bruin Hub is just one of many solutions. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both for this resolution. Anyone have any questions for Sachi or Aiden? If not, a motion? It's the last one, so make it good.
I move to approve a resolution in support of federal support for the Bruin Hub Commuter Students Project.
I second. Ooh, you guys, Elijah.
Zuleika motions, Elijah seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Awesome. With the unanimous vote of 14 to 0, the motion passes, and a resolution in support of federal support for the Bruin Hub Commuter Student Project has passed. Thank you, everyone. And with that being said, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 8:29 p.m.
The recording has stopped.
Okay. Fernando, I'm unsure, but I think you're supposed to record again for the administering of the oath. Oh, God.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, so we decided that we would do something different this year, because the tradition is like we all talk for 2 hours, and then by the time new council starts, it's like 1 a.m. and everybody's really mad. So we're going to avoid people being mad and upset at really raw emotions that need to come out. So we're going to do the administering oath of office right now. So we have our Chief Justice Ranita here to do that.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. We can go ahead and start now. Good evening, officers-elect, USA Council, and members of the University Public. I am Chief Justice Bora of the USA Judicial Board. I'd like to preface this oath by saying congratulations to the officers-elect on winning the respective elections and to all the candidates running innovative campaigns under unprecedented circumstances. Additionally, I'd like to applaud the Elections Board for their outstanding work in managing this entire election with 0 appealed decisions, a very welcome surprise for myself and my fellow justices on the board. I would also like to thank the outgoing council members for their service and dedication to the USA Council and the UCLA community as a whole. Officers-elect, you are inheriting the duties and responsibilities of upholding the values of the UCLA Undergraduate Students Association, and I am confident that each of you will rise to the occasion and guide us as we navigate, hopefully, back to in-person education in the fall. As the newly elected Chief Justice of the Judicial Board, I'm looking forward to working alongside each of you to continue our legacy of service to the association. I'm optimistic about the upcoming year and the hope and inspiration that it holds. So without further delay, officers-elect, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name.
Cameras.
Do we unmute?
Yes, please, everyone unmute. Repeat after me. The first one is I, please state your name.
I, Carl.
Hi,
Emily.
Hi, Natalia.
Do hereby solemnly swear that I will
Do hereby solemnly swear that I will,
to the best of my ability,
To the best
to
of
the best of my ability,
support the Constitution and the bylaws
support
the Constitution and the bylaws
of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA
of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA,
and that I will,
and I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
promote, maintain, and extend
maintain, and extend
the worth, value, and name
the worth, value, and name
of the University of California.
of the University of California.
Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to our new council members.
Awesome. And with that being said, we are officially through with the 2020-2021 council. Thank you, everyone, so much. Like I said, we are going to not do good and welfare here, but we are going to do it after the next council ends. So I'm officially going to be turning it over to Breeze.
Oh no. Okay. Let's see. I guess I'll knock first because I don't have my gavel. I don't know if everyone heard that, but I call this meeting to order at 8:33. Hold on one sec. I am actually a little confused on the agenda. Cass, can you share it here? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to share it in the chat in case y'all don't have it.